host is Manny Oso.
And this is Nikki Trends, and you are listening to Bubble Bath Stories, your favorite 15-minute podcast.
Yes, and you are listening to us while we have this extra long cord from Apple, which cost me a little bit more money.
Oh my god. It's obnoxiously long, though.
It is. But you know what? They got me, because I didn't know which one it was.
But remember when you asked for one, and you got like this smallest one ever?
That has happened. I can't seem to find a normal size Apple cord. It's always an obscure size one.
That's a little fun fact about Manny, but enough about that.
Anyways, I bring that up because finances, huh?
Were you charged extra money? Did they ask if you were married or single before you bought this?
I guess they have to charge extra for the extra 10 inches of plastic. But I talk about money because we read an interesting article this past week on Business Insider. The article itself titled, Single Women Are Losing in Today's Economy.
I mean, I know the world hates women, but not as much as they hate single women, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. This article actually was pretty interesting, though. It's basically talking about how single people in general and women, when it comes to that, more are losing when it comes to the way the economy's set up. And they bring up a lot of things as far as social life, living situations, and just how the tax code is set up against single life.
No, and as I was reading this article, it never mentioned anything about single men and how they live.
Well, that's because that's what it says. It says single people and then talks about women.
Just single women.
We're people and you're women.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's what it means.
Oh my god. I mean, I love one of the log lines said something like how being single is socially acceptable now. Like, okay, look, on what planet?
And you don't believe that?
Not at all. Culturally, especially, I don't think it's been normalized.
I don't think it's ever really been considered normal. Even growing up, I was always told that you gotta be ready to be married.
Yeah, there's no life outside of that. Like, you have to get married, have kids, benefits, all that jazz. And then the recession happened.
Yeah. Well, the article does talk about how the economy in whole is all set up and structured in this like 1940s style nuclear family setup, post World War II, 2 kids, a wife that's at home, the father's the breadwinner situation.
Right.
But now it's fast forward 2022. And not everybody in the country, let alone the world, lives like that.
I mean, obviously.
And not everybody in the country lived like that back then either.
I was actually reading the comments because, your girl loves to read the comments section. Yeah. And a lot of people are really pissed off about this article.
Yeah.
Because they're basically saying that it's not that we don't want to do these things. It's that we can't afford to do these things.
Yeah. And
the minute you have kids, society's happy for like 2 seconds, and then they're like, well, how could you have these kids if you can't afford them?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Talk about inflation and, no pay raises and the pay gap wage.
And if you say, well, then I don't want to have kids because I can't afford it, then you're like, oh, you don't want kids?
It's not about the money, okay? It's about sweet.
They've been having kids poor just since forever.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But in reality, it is true. I feel that, and I feel like I've heard these stories where people are in relationships because they can't afford to move out. So they stay in these relationships longer than they need to save up money to move out. What the fuck is that? How many people are living with their exes?
Yeah. No, it's pretty nuts. The cost of apartments in general right now, let alone, like, to try to live by yourself is nuts. In a city that we live in New York, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, like, I understand. So in the article, I know they were talking about, like, obviously couples have their own issues. Because there's always maybe somebody who makes more money.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't make money. That's the ones I could think of. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's being a couple is great, but it also has its I guess cons when it comes to taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like You just can't win. It just
but
that article just feels hopeless.
But
really.
they really hone in on like how it's not just about being a couple living together. It's about actually being married too, as to get a hold of some of the benefits. And some of the benefits aren't even things that are written in paper. Some of them are just like socially accepted things.
Well, so healthcare was one of them.
Well, so like what I want to talk is the this wage premium that they talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing they say is that married and cohabitating men and some women tend to earn more than their single counterparts. Yes, some women. So when you look at it, though, what they're talking about, this comes from Wiley Online Library. They did this research for it, and basically what they're saying is that like there's this socially accepted thing that if you're giving out promotions, you're more inclined to give it to the married person.
Which ultimately ruins your relationship, right?
Yeah, and that's not
at work.
Yeah, because it's not like it has nothing to do with like their skill or anything. It's just like, oh, I gotta dish it out to the married person before the single person.
Which if you're a man is great.
Yeah.
But if you're a married woman, the thought is that you're not gonna have time to succeed and excel at your job.
They say too that
because you have a husband and a family.
Well, if you're single, you're less likely to get that promotion, and now set it up with if you're a person of color, you're less likely. And if you're a single person of color and you're a woman, forget about it.
How do you even wake up?
Why do we want her working here again?
How do you even wake up?
Don't put that on paper, though.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no, and then when you set it up with the whole marriage bonus that is in tax code, right? So this is the one we were talking about, to where if you're more inclined to have a spouse stay at home and not work, then both of you work because of the way that you'll end up owing the taxes, because you're both have income to claim. Yeah, tax. I'm not a tax consultant.
Wait, how would the person with no job claim taxes?
Because the tax liability is less on the one person that's the one income owner. You guys got to check out this article.
I'm so
they totally
confused.
break this down to where there's 50,000, where there's two incomes of 50,000, and one person owes 2,000, and the other person owes 4.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and when you look at it and you're like, should have been an accountant.
Listen, obviously there's perks to being married, right? You got the whole health insurance thing. Like, one of you guys has really good health insurance. I can have really good health insurance. Like, the whole beneficiary thing. Social Security after somebody died. Like, yes, there's obviously so much to it. But what I gather from it is just like it's changing, and those numbers where those people are having traditional families is dwindling. So how can we change our structure to fit the majority? But hello, there's still racism. Yeah, there's still systematic racism. What the hell do I know? Well, if we were able to fix things, I would imagine they'd started with that first.
Well, there's less people.
Forget single people.
There's definitely less people married now.
Well, because marriage has like such a taboo thing around it now. Like, it doesn't have any real meaning.
Well, they say they do have a quote. They say as of 2018, a record of 35% of U.S. adults ages 25 and 50 had never been married. In 1970, that was only 9%.
I mean, okay, let's think about it.
And those people that are in that 35%, it's not going to happen.
I think that...
Because there's that acceptance now.
I think that as time goes on, though, I think the whole idea of marriage and what it was supposed to be is not taken as seriously as it used to.
Everybody, the way we want to set up our structure of life is definitely not the way it was back when World War II ended.
I also feel like a lot of people may have come from homes where maybe their parents had bad, or they didn't have good examples of what a marriage should be, and decided I'd rather just not get married.
Why
do I need to get married for?
What do you think about the way the social life aspect is and what they talked about for that?
I don't like this whole like, oh, if you're single, you're just always out and about and you're gonna be spending money because nobody wants to eat at home alone. Let me tell you, when I was single, like sometimes I just wanted to be in my undies, eating a pizza, and like that's it. Like having the time of my life.
I do gotta say, that's the part I did not agree with.
I was like, there was no way that I was out 24/7.
But also like the whole, I think that's so fake. The whole like pressure to have to be out like with the like. There's no pressure when you're single. Just like go home. Go home if you want to go home.
No,
stay out if you want to stay out. Go to a different club. Single people don't have to wait in line.
I know married people who have like where the wives have like booming social lives.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like.
Well, they were saying more about married people or couples get to split the tab and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that I think it's easier to
be single
out and about. Yeah. Because you don't have to wait in line if you're single. You don't have to wait for somebody to finish. Oh. You know? You can go and do as you please. It's easier to catch a cab. You know? You don't gotta wait for someone for the subway.
People are gonna be really confused how passionately we're talking about being single, even though we're a couple.
Listen, there was
couple of nut jobs.
They talk about one lady. Her name was Kate Bullock, and she wrote a book called Spinster.
Jeez.
Okay, so she says studies show that a woman who lives alone is more. You see how I dropped that W? A woman who lives alone is more likely to have an active social life and maintain family bonds. So basically, in that, she was saying that not only are you, as a single woman, paying more for your social life, but since you're single, you're paying more to go and visit family.
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree.
I actually thought about those Florida trips you take.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
it's just me.
Because if you have a family at home, if you have kids, then you have no reason to stay home.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because like my sister
I think that's what she was alluding to.
My sister who lives in Florida used to come down a lot with her kids.
There's some anomalies.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I remember I'm a freelancer, and I remember when I first started, like in between gigs, you obviously do unemployment. Yeah. And I remember everybody was hyping it up, like I was supposed to get the max amount. And I only got like maybe $100, $150. And I was like, when I tell you my heart dropped into my ass. So I called to find out, and they were like, oh, you made too much money. Okay. And you don't have any kids and you're not married. So you made too much money as a single person. And I was like, so I'm being penalized for not having children.
You're making too much money.
For working.
Yeah. Why don't you put up a stop sign or something?
I was like, where am I? What the hell? And it made me realize, like, yeah, there is like an aura in the fucking air when you're single.
It kind of makes you understand, like, when you were younger and would see all these adults trying to claim children in April. You know?
I mean, I think the other thing that's fascinating is that, you know, this whole idea, right? You're single, you're supposed to be able to like travel the world, have all this extra money and all this extra time. But in the article, they basically are saying, no, you actually don't have extra money or extra time.
Yeah. The world is actually against you for doing those things.
Right, the world just feels entitled to all of that because you don't have kids, because you're not married, because it's just you alone. Yeah. But, you know, we feel entitled to, like, your time.
On Ticketmaster right now, if you look, a lot of concerts are requiring you to pay to get two tickets.
Like, whatever. That's not a big deal.
And when I was single reading, ones are like limited where you can sit. I mean, I see it in little things. You remember when we lived in that apartment? Yeah. And that lady tried us with this concept.
Of what?
And try to say that we should pay more.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't have kids.
Yeah, she did. But she had a full apartment, guys. Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys ever saw, like, old pictures on our Instagram, like, how small our apartment was. This lady had a full apartment and like 6 people living with her. She had 3 kids, her mother-in-law, like her father, her husband and her. And it was a 3-bedroom railroad apartment, but she wanted us to pay more money.
Because we didn't have kids.
Because we didn't have kids.
Yeah.
That's
the system at work right there.
The nerve.
No, yeah.
I mean, what were some discriminations you had when you were single?
As far as being single, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see it much in the tax code because I've been filing by myself forever.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, like, I'll hear people say, like, oh, did you do your taxes? I got back, like, such and such. I never had kids. So I figured I always blame it on the kid thing.
Yeah.
I don't have kids. You know, I definitely see it in the social world, though, you know. Like I said, it's definitely easier to get to in a club, I feel, but it's not easier to get sat at a table.
Really? Why?
Well, I mean, it's easier to get a single person.
Yeah.
Unless you own the place, they're gonna be like, okay, we'll get you a table, I guess. They're not gonna waste a booth on you.
Well, no, yeah, but you can still get a table.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I see it in these things. I see with Ticketmaster, like I said, and with SeatGeek, with a lot of these ticket ordering systems.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them, for some of these big concerts, they're making you buy 2 or making it more expensive or less available to buy 1.
Well, that's what they also talked about how gym memberships and cell phone plans make it cheaper when it's a family plan.
Yeah.
Or you're attached to somebody else. Which is
there's no such thing as the single man plan. It's just a plan.
It's a bundle pack. That's why it's cheaper. They want you to buy the bundle pack.
I want to think though that there's a lot more single people. Like, why isn't there like a friends package? Like, hey, all y'all friends together can have a fun, like. Because I'm thinking about something, they gotta have a lot of customers who are single. Well, single people.
Well, that's what these like group of friends are going into buying homes together. Oh yeah, I have heard about that. Not because they want to, because they have to if they want to have some kind of asset with them. But like, would you rather have your own house? Or would you rather go in with 7 other people for a house?
I did hear about that. You told me that there's like these group of women who go in, they buy a house together because they all have the credit score and the money together.
Yeah, but they're single. Children, right? Like they're single mothers who went, which is like great. Yeah. That's like, isn't that the whole idea of village? Village raises children. Huh?
Who gets the house at the end?
They all own a piece of it.
They all own a piece.
Which is like, again, it's great, but like. Everybody wants to have their own house. Yeah. And so when people are like, so you don't have your own house, it's like insulting because it's not like I don't want it. Yeah. It's just becoming this whole idea that it's becoming so unattainable.
Owning a piece of property and being a homeowner is the American dream concept, right?
Right,
to
but
own your house and own a piece of property. I feel like even like the way things are set up, like you don't have a say unless you are a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a say.
Or you're not an adult.
Like people.
Or you're not this.
Like a while ago, I used to always hear people say like when they would say to a cop or to anybody that's a government official, "Oh, I pay your salary." And I used to think to myself, like, yeah, that's something that you could say, right? Because you pay taxes because of sales tax.
Right.
No, it doesn't work like that. Property taxes are what pay for a lot of the things that people say to these people. So when you say that to a cop, oh, I pay your salary. That's only if you pay property taxes. If you aren't a property owner.
Right, you can't say that.
He doesn't give a fuck what you have to say.
Well, what do you guys think? Do you think single people are being ripped off, or do you think couples are being ripped off?
Yeah, or are you one of those people who think we should just scrap the system and set something new? Should there be a single tax credit?
You guys can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Bubble Bath Stories.
You can find me at Got No Time for This.
And you can find me at Nikki Trend on Instagram. And if you're looking to join the conversation in style, you can go to our website, www.bubblebathstories.co.
3 W's.
Oh, did I only do 2?
Yeah.
3? I was like trying to count in my head. Okay, let me start again. If you're looking to join the conversation in style, you can go to our website, bubblebathstories.co, for official merchandise.